Short Academy. As you guys know, out about the good and the beautiful from one of my subscribers who asked me on the good and the beautiful. So I bought some of the good and beautiful and I tested it out with my children and I absolutely love. I love the content and everything they provide in the good and beautiful, but one thing I wish they had more of is diversity. And not just with African Americans. I want to see all cultures. I want to see a Brazilian, I want to see a Native American, I want to see um um people over there in Norway. I want to see West Indies. I want to see African Americans. I want to see everybody represented in the good and the beautiful. And although they do have some little bit representation of people of different diversities, not that much. So in order to fill that gap, because the curriculum itself, I feel like is a very, very good curriculum, very because you're covering spelling, language, grammar. Sorry for that. My internet is starting to drag. But anyway, like I said, I really, really like the good and the beautiful. I'm so glad that one of my subscribers asked me about it because you know my motto, I do not critique or give my opinion based on videos that I see or based on what someone else said. I get curriculum myself if it's affordable for me. And I tested out myself. Whereas the Good and the Beautiful do offer levels 1 through 5 for absolutely free PDF version. So that made it super duper easy for me to do because I just copied off about 40 lessons within certain levels. And I tested it out with both of my children. And to my amazement, they absolutely loved it. The only thing that I see that I don't like about the Good and Beautiful is, but it's not a deal breaker for me, is that it's not very diverse. So, although you will see some Native Americans every now and then, you will see maybe a black person, maybe every now and then. You might see, I don't know if you see any Spanish. But what I wanted was not just something that is diverse with people who look like me, but with people who from other cultures, West Indies, people who are from Spain, Mexicans. I want to see a whole just a whole cultural melting pot of diversity in the artwork. Now they have beautiful artwork. I'm not taking anything away from the good and the beautiful with that. The artwork is absolutely breathtaking with the hills and mountains and the different little pictures that they highlight throughout the art, dealing with different artists and why they chose to do art a certain way back then based on the materials and resources that they had or what kind of message they were trying to convey. The content in the good and beautiful is bar none one of the best I have ever seen, and I have been using quite a bit of different stuff, especially in this last year and a half, seeing and just experiencing different curriculum. If you're looking for something that's like pretty much a one-stop shop, meaning the only thing you need to add in is like a science and a math, you may want to add in history, but kind of the geography part kind of touches on history because when you start talking about geography, you start talking about different things that's history related. But it doesn't um I just love the way the format is and how simple it is and how everything is just laid out in such a way that it takes all the stress off the mom or the dad or the grandma, the grandpa, whomever is doing the homeschooling. It takes the pressure off. It's a simple um, layout. The child is learning and is focused on reading wholesome content, literature. So I really, really like it. Yes, the literature is dated. It's back in the 1800s, some of it in the early 1900s or something like that. However, I'm looking for high morals and I'm looking for things that you can learn from the principle of different things. You can easily add in modernized literature if that's what you want to do. But as of the structure and the core of the curriculum, it's very, 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 very good. The only little thing I have to say is, like I said, diversity. So to fill that gap, that's not a deal breaker for me. A lot of curriculum don't have a lot of diversity. I have come to realize that. And so where there is a will, there's a way. And so that's why I add the diversity in myself, because I still like the good and the beautiful. So I have like these little transparencies, art transparencies that has variety of different art, and not just African American art, although it does highlight a lot of different things from Black artists. And it also highlight things from Spanish, Indians. You even have some um different religions highlighted in it. You have different things of the time. So what we're going to be doing, we are going to be going over these different transparencies. Now, these transparencies are actually from the public school, um, the public school textbook. Let me see, can I show it to you? But I like them. This is a very, very good solid art curriculum. Well, actually goes along with the literature aspect of the book. So this transparency has this literature book to go with it. I don't have this literature book, but I do have these two literature books. So you can actually read the stories that goes along with these art transparencies. You don't have to, because what I particularly like about these transparencies, it comes with a whole, it has the number, whatever transparency that you're working with, and it has a whole history of what's going on with that particular picture. And so if you want to do further research, you can go into your literature book and add it in. I don't really need to do that because I'm using Good and the Beautiful for my literature. Some of the stories I will be using, some of them I will not. It just be like an added resource. I'm mainly focusing on the art aspect of this curriculum because I really, really like it a lot. And I like the simplicity of it. And that's going to help me add that diversity that I want and I need in my curriculum, along with using my Black history flashcards and my entrepreneurship stuff. And I'm also using this book. This was gifted to me. This it is super duper thick, y'all. This was, yes, this was gifted to me by one of my friends named Robin. She probably don't even remember. She gave me this book about 3 years ago. I got this book and I was cleaning up my homeschool room and I was like, I don't remember buying this. And then I remember that we do like book swaps at the beginning of the school year or whatever. And I picked this book up about 3 years ago or 2 years ago from her. And I was like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This book talks about African American history, or African American portrait of a people. It talks about African Americans and civil rights, Black nationalists, politics, entrepreneurship, education, religion, literature, media, music, science, and sports. So it goes over different genres of what different African Americans did in those different aspects. So it's very, very good. And I cannot go through this book in 1 year. So we're gonna be using this throughout the years. So I don't know if this book is still actually in print or not, but you can just look at the cover and hopefully you can like Google it and maybe find this for yourself, because this is actually a very good one. A very, very good book. And it also talks about African Americans that you have probably never even heard of. And like I said, I'm on a hunt of finding all that kind of stuff, the more positive reinforcement of African American history. So that is what I'm using to diversify my good and the beautiful. I am so happy when Julie asked me about the good and the beautiful, one of my subscribers. Um, and Barbara. Oh, I'm so thankful that you guys told me, because it has really revolutionized and just freed up so much time for me and stress with my child being in ninth grade, that I know that they're getting a very sturdy, structured education with little to no planning from me. Now, I really don't have to plan with the good and beautiful, but I cannot not plan. I'm a type of person that I like to plan. So although I don't really need to add in anything else for Good and Beautiful because it's really a sturdy curriculum, I add in other stuff. That's just my personal preference. You don't have to do it, but I do. I add in extra geography, I add in extra art, I add in extra writing and different stuff like that. Just my personal preference, but you don't have to because it can stand totally alone. But I did add in the diversity of all cultures, not just my culture, but everyone's culture, because I want my children to have a very diverse learning experience and learn about different people beside themselves, and try to understand the sociology of why different cultures do this, or why we feel this way about this and they don't because of our culture or of our background. It's a very unique thing to learn about other people's way of thinking about things. And it, although it may be different from yours, that don't make it wrong. So it's a very, very unique perspective. Like, for a moment you're looking through someone else's experience. And so we really, really love social studies, culture. um, I wish and hope one day that we can travel and see some of these places that we're learning about so they can get a full, well-rounded experience. I don't know if that's going to ever happen, but until then, we will use books, documentaries, and do the things that we can do that fit in our budget. So I just want to show you how you can easily diversify your Good and the Beautiful curriculum. If that is one of your plights or one of your issues with Good and the Beautiful, that it's not diversified, well, that is not a deal breaker. It's very, very easy to diversify the Good and the Beautiful and still use their incredible curriculum and just add in your diversity, because the curriculum itself is solid, in my opinion. Very, very solid. And to come from me saying something is that solid, because I'm very, very particular. So it's a very, very solid curriculum. Thus far, we are enjoying it a whole lot. I don't know if we still feel this way a year or two or three from now, but as of now, we are absolutely loving it. So if you're looking for something that take less work for you, and you can still have confidence your child is getting a solid education with not with diversity, but with good teaching without you having to do every single little thing. Where the Good and Beautiful is relatively inexpensive. Yes, you have to pay some things, but compared to the other pricey curriculums that's out there now, Good and the Beautiful provides a whole lot of different content for a fraction of the cost. Because if you have to go out and buy every individual subject that they offer, I think it's about 7 different things within their one course book. If you go out and individually buy all of those different things, it's gonna break the bank. And most of us do that. We buy a separate curriculum for language arts, we buy a separate curriculum for literature, we buy a separate curriculum for spelling, we buy a separate curriculum for geography, we buy a separate curriculum for art. Well, with the Good and the Beautiful, it's all in one. So when you pay that one price with your language, arts, and literature, you get in all of that, including dictation. So it's a win-win. Only thing you have to do is add in a little diversity if you want diversity, or you can just use it by itself. It's a very, very good curriculum. We are loving it thus far, and we will be using it this upcoming school year as well for our literature, language, arts, and spelling, geography, blah 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 blah. Although I am adding in some things, that's just my personal preference. But we are loving it. So you guys have a great rest of your day. I am coming back yet again with another video talking about something that we normally don't talk about, which we should be talking about. So I'm going to hit on that subject a little bit next. Have a great day. Bye.